Let's do a couple more examples where we have x approaching a vertical asymptote of a function. Now, in this case, we know that the function has a vertical asymptote at x equals 1 because we have this term in the denominator, x minus 1, that goes to 0 when x is 1, and this doesn't cancel away with anything on top. So here's how we'll do this. Since x is approaching 1 from the left, that means that we've got 1 over here, and x is coming in from this side. So you can think of this as, x is getting really close to 1, but it's less than 1. So the best way to write that is x is less than 1. You can think about it mentally if it helps you with stuff. Think of x as being something like something very small, very slightly smaller than 1, something like that. And so what we've got to do now is come up here and figure out in this original function, are these things positive or negative? We know that the answer is either going to be positive or negative infinity, but we've got to figure out which. And we'll do that by looking at the signs of these individual terms, or factors. So x is essentially 1. So 1 minus 4 is negative 3. 1 plus 5 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2. And this is where it gets interesting here. 1 minus 1 is 0. But remember, x is, it's not really 1. It's very slightly smaller than 1. So if you think about it being this minus 1 is going to be negative. So if we look at the different terms here, we've got negative, positive, positive, negative. We've got an even number of negatives. That makes this overall positive infinity. And if I were to ask you to do a problem like this and show your work, this would be plenty of work to show. All right, let's look at this one. X is going to 4 from the positive side. And if you look at this, that does make the denominator 0. So this is going to give us a vertical asymptote. But in this case, I need to factor this. The top I can factor into x times x plus 4. And the bottom I can factor into x plus 4 times x minus 4. All right, x is approaching 4 from the positive side. So x is close to 4, but it's slightly larger. Again, that's because you got 4 here on the number line. X is coming in slightly above. So when x approaches 4 from the positive side, x here is essentially 4. X plus 4 is essentially 8. X plus 4 is still essentially 8. And x minus 4 is, well, x is slightly bigger than 4. So this is essentially 0. But it's positive. So that gives me positive infinity. This notation here, it's fine with me if you use this sort of notation. Did I do that above? I did. When I write this out, what it really means is this is, I use positive 0 to represent a tiny positive number. And I use negative 0 to represent a tiny negative. It's not formal notation, but it gets the point across, and it's fine with me if you want to use that in your work. All right.